So, what do we wish to go in with next year? As we've seen in the previous runs, Conjure is probably our best bet at actually surviving to a certain point. Venom Mage is something that I was interested in. Would run into a lot of the same problems that we did on our Necromancer, most namely, you know, those Necrophages, Whites, all that fun stuff. Definitely a Venom Mage's worst nightmare. But Poisonous Vapors is quite strong with the full kiting ability. So, have we done enough random runs to warrant going back to Conjure? I always feel like I'm being boring because it is kind of the no-nonsense shooter straight kid kind of choice here. But we do kind of want to get a Felid win at some point down the road. So, let's do it. I think we'll go with Conjurer. And should we be Fuzz Aldrin, Cat Von Du? I even thought of Cat Stevens, because that's definitely a huge popular culture, I don't know, anchor for me. None of these words are what my brain is trying to come up with, but regardless. Let's go Conjurer and let's go Fuzz Aldrin, shall we? Pay homage to my astrophysics roots. And get everything set up the way we so love to. Definitely drop a quick dump file so we can sneak in here and grab the seed just in case any of you lovely folks want to play along at home and see how you fare in the dungeon as well. And that should be just about perfect. Let's do this, shall we? Once more into the breach. Oh gosh, almost immediately die. What a start. Let's use our speed to our advantage and not do anything too silly early on here, shall we? Oh me, oh my. Ah, a cockroach has joined the fray. Fantastic. Hello, my friend. Unfortunately, the cockroach kind of keeps up with us, but the hobgoblin does not. And that's bad, really, at the end of the day, because it does mean that, all the ordering can get reconfigured like we just saw there, and all of a sudden we're not really safe from anyone. Oh gosh. Guess it's as good as it gets here, huh? This is my life now, just forever on the escape path. Oh my gosh, we finally killed the hobgoblin. It's a wonderful world. It's a wonderful life. Never a doubt in my mind, of course. And let's wait a little bit longer this time. Get back 3, maybe even 4 pips of MP before we start to blast this son of a gun into the next century. And perfect. There we go. Rough start, to say the least, but that's fine. I guess the whole Conjurers are the best start for us kind of goes hand in hand with we have to at least survive the first floor. But we'll see how it goes here. Early spell book is Book of the Hunter. What the heck do you have? Mostly stuff that we won't use. Canine Familiar is pretty strong, as we saw in our Summoner character. So there's some potential argument to be made there. But we won't worry too much about it at the moment. Delver's fun to get Orc Priests with 11 health experience. Oh, definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, mostly because your lifetime isn't going to go much further than that moment in time. But can definitely leave it up to my imagination, let's say. Don't need to experience that one in real time. But we should learn Siren Ray before I forget to do so. Fantastic. And get right back on the road. Level 4 is where we really start to come into our own. Even with that, I guess usually not right when we get level 4. Usually there's a little bit of a training period, a downtime before everything fully starts to kick off, but that's well and good here. And fantastic. So yeah, we'll have to do the usual question that we face on Conjurers this run, which is, do we wish to learn Fulminant Prism or IMB first? Because IMB is always fantastic to learn in its own right. But oftentimes, especially as of late, we found ourselves putting a little bit more faith in Fulminant Prism. Always have to be worried about how much noise we're making with that son of a gun, but definitely is a nice option here. And absolutely blitzing our way through this floor with mostly just magic missile at our disposal. There's our first extra life. Fantastic. Getting a little bit risky with it here, even going into close quarters combat for some reason there. Don't know what my imagination was thinking would happen, but I guess it worked out, so can't really complain. And you, my friend, are a pain in the rear. Continue dancing around the issue as much as we possibly can. Kind of lucked out that ended up leading us somewhere we'd been before, because unexplored hallways, not where you want to be. You have learned Fulminant Prism for some late game Stormform characters. Well, I always like to bring it back to the fact that my appreciation for Fulminant Prism, I always had it, I always knew that there was a reason why everyone loved it, but it never fully resonated with me until our Genie character. Because when you have to murder orbs of fire with nothing but Fulminant Prism at your disposal, it recontextualizes some things in life, to say the least. But okie dokie. You vote for Rue Colgate? Is that who we found down here? It is. Would I want to go with Rue on this character? I mean, once you get Apocalypse, things definitely pop off to a high degree. I'm just such a sucker for, like, my usual go-tos, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of the sacrifices that you make to Rue and how those would affect a Felid, because it's not going to let me sacrifice things that don't matter. Just don't sack conjurations. Oof, yeah, I would hope not. Can we still sack a hand? Technically, it affects unarmed combat, so it's not fully useless of a sacrifice. I guess maybe the balance there would be that they don't give us very many sacrifice pity points for that. I don't think I'm feeling Rue today, so unfortunately this is going to be one of those rare occasions where we don't jump to it right away here. But Fuzz doesn't seem like a Rue kind of kitty, you know what I mean? I don't know if we'll go with one of the usuals, go with like Behemoth or Sifmuna again, maybe even, I was going to say maybe even Gozeg, but that's just wistful thinking. That's what I always want to play on any given character, really, at the end of the day. But geez Louise, let's run away from that gosh darn wizard, absolutely annihilating us in no time flat, and give this one another shot from the top, shall we? This time we had a bit more mana at our disposal. Oh gosh, still ended up being far closer than I'd care to admit, but let us also bring in, let's go Fulminant Prism, shall we? And can immediately turn on hexes. Again, at least hexes train super fast here, so we can bring that up to speed in no time flat. Even bringing it as high as 6. I know, I'm a mad lad over here. Conjurations to 14. That should all be just about where we want them to sit for the foreseeable near future here, and we can burn the rest of that bridge when we get there. Okie dokie, scale mail of willpower. Oh joy, thanks. Thanks, Dungeon, I appreciate it. Appreciate you and everything you do for everyone around you. Ah, do I go with the early Sif? D3 Sif is pretty fantastic. It ensures that we get access to the forms that we so desire at some point in the game at least, so that's always nice. I am a decent fan of like channel magic. Divine Exegesis also can be a lot of fun. Let's do it. It's getting a little traditional with our spellcasters, but there's oftentimes a very distinct reason for that. Most namely that it's which is kind of good. Just kind of sick nasty with the sauce. But let's put on that Amulet of the Acrobat. Getting another one of those this game is very fortuitous. Hopefully we can navigate that into a good future for ourselves. One that I'm not just jeopardizing immediately. Whoopsie daisies. Never a doubt in my mind though. Absolutely demolish that son of a gun. Oh gosh, hello iguana. Could we get out of my way, please? Thank you kindly. And run. Hep would probably be best, but Hep is like always best. It's a bit boring. See, that's funny because yeah, I am somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience with Hep, so I don't have the same stalwart faith in them. But I did enjoy our summoner cat that had Hep at their side. I'm still like trying to figure out where I stand on where the benefits, you know, the pros and cons land on a cat of Hep. Because my big thing is that you already have no health at all. So minus 10%, what's the big deal? Or do you take that a different way and instead go with 10% less health? Oh gosh, now everything's gonna one-shot you. Give up. I don't know where I land on that. I think my instinct was more in the former than the latter. I thought that, yeah, whatever, it's just another 10%, what's the big deal? But it's maybe a bit more interesting of a call to make than I was making it out to be. Oh, miscast Searing Ray? Fantastic. Just what you want to see in life. Let's try that again, shall we? Much better. Beautiful. In general, I love hearing about people's opinions on all the, like, deities, especially in this game, like playstyles and, you know, spells, all those. People have their different opinions and whatnot, but deity choice is where I find there's a huge offset in how everyone feels the game should be played, you know, if you're going for the most optimal style of play. And that's, you know, something that kind of shows just how well designed the balance is for the deities in the game. Because it's all over the place, and almost every deity has someone out there who's a diehard fan, who thinks that there's no one else that you should even think about playing when trying to get through in like streak wins or something like that. So I think that that's a pretty sweet deal at the end of the day, and it's nice to see that there's a competitive thriving, I don't know, displacement of all those different playstyles. For you, Colgate Dithmenos, you do not get? Definitely. And what is optimal depends from goals. Yeah, I guess in this case, I'm assuming that the goal is just victory. And so that's where you still have a lot of give and take and a lot of different opinions as to what best entails bringing you to that goal, which I think is really sweet. Moment Prism, not quite there, otherwise I'd be a bit more down to fight you, Sigmund. As is, I'm going to use the nice corners and bends here to just walk away from life's problems. Okie dokie. What the heck is... Oh, this is going to be like an altar to Oka? Yeah. Fantastic. Hello, Dad. Nice to see you. Perfect. Mega Zetas have different choices than real-time speedrunners, for example. Oh no, definitely. And that's why, just in terms of sheer victory, with some niche cases, depending on who you are. I mean, like, I'm a diehard Gozag fanatic. Because I feel like if I'm a Mega Zig character, if I'm just trying to get a win, pretty much any of those categories, I will gladly go Gozag. So I guess Gozag gets my vote as best all around, but that's definitely not a be-all end-all opinion that everyone shares, which I think is awesome and a really good indication, again, of where the game is at and how all those various factors come to balance, because we all have different play styles, we all have different ideals for even what we're looking for in the game, like your examples there, Colgate, and what your goals are for any given run. It's cool stuff. I think it's super neat. Part of what keeps DCSS as a very evergreen game for me throughout all my my years of playing. Not too shabby here. You gonna break your way out? You are, my friend. Hello there. Fantastic. Goes like being best for magazine seems to be consensus. Makes sense with the gold distraction, hey? It's hard to beat just having turns where enemies do literally nothing. Especially when enemies in those ziggurats get real nasty real fast. I'm curious about some other options there. Like, what's funny is in real runs, if I'm going for ziggurats, always goes egg, 100% every time. The ziggurat sprint, the sprint game mode, or the dungeon sprint game mode that is available that's all ziggurat based, there I find that Quaslaw is the way to go every time. Any character, I think I can beat that game mode with Quaslaw, because as soon as you get up to the point where you have enough piety to do disaster area, you just spam disaster area in every ziggurat room and everything dies. So I think that the maybe shortcoming of that is that Quaslaw can beat your first like 5 zigs effortlessly. You just get to spam that ability and everything dies. But as you continue your mega zigging and you have the density of just panlords filling an entire floor, disaster area maybe isn't quite as enthusiastic in its murder. At least not compared to like just the level 9 spells paired with gold distractions. That makes sense. But for Windstrain, you've heard Oka, Trog, Hep, and Ash most for being best. See, I've definitely heard Goes Egg in that list. I've heard some people swear by like even Behemoth, or I know a lot of people like the Good Gods as just be all end alls. I guess that one's less so for 3 runes, but still interesting to me that it can be a little bit all over the place. Because I think if I was, gun to my head, I have to win a run, no ifs, ands, or buts. Probably. Do I go Berserker? That would have been my answer back in the day for sure. Because there was a long period of time where Berserker was my most consistent character. Now, as long as I don't have to be a specific species, like if I don't have to be cat, maybe I would go with one of the slightly more robust spellcasting starts, but that's an interesting one for sure. As was mentioned in chat earlier as well, I'm a sucker for demon spawn. So there is that as a consideration for me personally. Demon spawn spellcasters are just so much fun. I recently did have practice seeing just how consistent I was with demon spawn, and it wasn't too bad. Got through most of them in one piece, or at least got them to a decent stage in the game without too much trouble. But okie dokie, looks like we've gone to the point where at least Fulminant Prism is online, so that's a nice stage in our journey here. Also, cold resistance, corrosion resistance, and AC +4, -9 magic is kind of a deal breaker right now. But that's a consideration for the future. Interesting. I also, wait a second, I have a burning ring of fire. So let's definitely whip that son of a gun out. Throw down one of these real quick. And you're probably just dead? Pretty dang close to dead. There we go. Should have realized I had that ring of fire earlier, shouldn't I? But let's finish off this floor at the very least. And then it's a weird time. Usually we're either at, the midpoint of a run, or we've just died on a run. But today we're gonna have to go a little bit off course. And I think this is where we're gonna have to call it, because I do have some stuff we need to do this evening. As much as I always just want to hang out for the rest of the night. Unfortunately, not exactly an option for us here. So I think this is where we'll call it quits. I definitely had a fun time. It was nice to see the Necromancer start. I don't think it's for me personally. Doesn't quite jive with my playstyle, but very cool stuff. And we'll have to look into it in the future. Maybe, as Colgate suggested, on Mummy. Though we'll see. I might be playing Mummy pretty close to the chest in terms of combos that I think I can win, because otherwise we might be at this for the rest of our known existence. But hey, who's to say what the future has in store? We'll see what we end up playing when we get there. We always do end up kind of caving to just having some silly runs and having a good time, so I could definitely see that being the outcome at the end of the day. But again, I had a lot of fun today. I hope you all enjoyed as well. Hopefully nobody's getting too frustrated with the endless Felid runs. I guess we're just barely getting on the cusp of like the Curse of Deep Elf and the Vampire Diaries, as we have come to know and love them. But I hope you're all enjoying the adventure as much as I am, of course. And thank you so much to each and every one of you who join us, whether that be just alongside in chat, lurking in the background, or if you're watching this down the road on the VODs or YouTube. Big hello, and thank you as well so much. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out of your assumedly busy days. Even if not super busy, there's still other things you could be doing. So I appreciate it, and enjoy our time together regardless. But of course, we'll do a quick check to see who's live. We'll see if anyone's live, seeing as how I'm not usually finished at this time in the evening. But maybe somebody is around to save our days. It does look like Wizard Ike is currently playing some DCSS. So let's stick to the DCSS crew today, shall we? And we will send a rage off over that way. That should be just about perfect. And then, yeah, I guess that's it for me. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their weekend, whether you get a long weekend or not. I hope it's a good one. And yeah, definitely hope to see you again in the future, whether that be on Wednesday, when I think I'm still gonna keep with Cult of the Lamb for the time being here. It's tempting to switch off. Again, there are just so many fantastic games that I would love to play on stream. But we're gonna keep in with Calls of the Lamb for now on Wednesdays, or next week when we jump back in with Fuzz Aldrin, and hopefully this astronaut makes it back home to touch ground, because that's the dream at the very least. But we'll see how it goes. Time is Wonderful just got here, lol. So sorry, Clucky Cow. I appreciate you dropping on by though. Hello, and I hope that you're having a fantastic weekend. I hope to see you again in the future. Of course, never any pressure to show up, but sorry for heading off right in the moment here. I'm sure we'll see each other around, and thanks again for dropping by at the very least. But regardless of all of that, I do hope that each and every one of you are having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, and I definitely hope to see you soon. I'll see you.